Spiral line loops around the body in a double helix on the right and left side, joining each side of the skull across the upper back to the opposite shoulder. This then wraps around the ribs to the front and crosses again at the level of the navel to our hips. From the hip, the spiral line passes like a jump rope along the anterior lateral thigh and across the shin to the medial longitudinal arch, passing under the foot and running up the posterior lateral side of the leg to the ischium and into the erector spinae myofascia. It then ends very close to the skull where it all started. Postural function of the spiral line. This spiral line functions posturally to wrap around the body in a double spiral. This helps to maintain balance across all planes. So the sagittal plane, the frontal plane, and the transverse plane.
The spiral line also helps to maintain balance during rotations, twisting motions, and as well as laterally flexing. The movement function of the spiral line is to mediate and create oblique spirals during rotations. This is important because it keeps your body balanced, making sure your body doesn't rotate too far one way and too little the other.
This steadies the trunk and legs to keep it from folding into a rotational collapse, like so.
Okay, so stretch number 1 for the spiral line. Leaving your back foot averted, you want to take one step forward, putting your hand in front of the other, in front of your foot, and stretching up, reaching to the sky while turning your head. And that's going to stretch out the spiral line as well as the superficial back line.
By starting in a sitting position, you will bring one leg on top of the other, place the opposite arm over that knee, twist your body by placing your other hand on the ground and twisting your leg or twisting your head in that position as well. As you can see from the back, this stretches the spiral line on the upper portion. It also stretches the superficial back line and part of the lateral line.
The third stretch we have for the spiral line is a dynamic stretch that's going to be going through the movements. So for starters, you're going to want to take your arms and you're going to want to rotate them towards the outside of your body and back. Now you'll notice when doing this stretch is that it's stretching the spiral line as well as the lateral line. And with the head movement, you're also going to get a little bit of the superficial back line in there. The superficial front line. What's unique about the superficial front line is that it connects the anterior surface of the body to the top. It is two pieces that go from the toes to the pelvis and the pelvis to the head. It's important that when you're standing up straight, this fascial line functions as one. The movement function of the superficial front line is to create flexion of the trunk and the hips and extension of the knee, as well as dorsiflexion at the foot.
An example of everyday movement for the superficial front line is picking things up off the ground, whether you need it or a big heavy rock is in your way and you need to get by, as shown.
The superficial back line connects and protects the entire posterior surface of the body. It starts at the bottom of the foot and continues all the way up to the top of the head by the eyebrows. What's unique about the superficial back line is, while standing, it is a continuous line of myofascia, but can be dissected at the hips when you sit down. The superficial back line is in charge of overall postural function, support the body in a full upright extension, and to prevent the tendency to curl over into flexion, or other known as the fetal position.
Without the superficial back line in place, everyday movements like just standing and keeping our head up, being able to look around would not be possible
The superficial front line and the superficial back line work together to maintain balance in the body at the upright position. The back is made up of slow twitch fibers to prevent the body from falling forward during flexion, caused by the fast twitch fibers of the front line.